So now let's look into the definition of terms, what the information system means, what the enterprise information consists of. Well, first thing you could say is that the enterprise information system supports service processes. Service processes means that something happens in your company, something is executed, some activities are done, people are participating in these activities, and the information system supports these service processes in different aspects: people management, process management, data management for the processes, whatever is concerned within this service process execution or process execution. And also there are exchange relationships with exchange relationships within an enterprise, so internal exchange relationships. The employees internally communicate, the employees somehow have to care about running the business processes, and therewith the exchange relationships might be internal. Or the exchange relationships might also be external with the customers, with the suppliers. So regarding the exchange relationships with customers, imagine the customer wants to place a purchase order, then he might call the customer service representative, and he might order it via telephone, or the customer might order it in a web shop, and then the purchase order has to be processed automatically within the ERP system. And therefore you exchange relationships for your demand. The customer has a certain demand of product, a certain demand of processes, and this needs to be communicated via these exchange relationships. And if we now look into detail in this term information system, we first look onto the part system. What does system mean? System means that there's one whole thing, and this whole thing might consist of different smaller parts, which might be sets of persons, sets of employees, people, sets of things like machines, like computers, maybe also processes, and things which are basically important within the company, important within the business processes. Or there might be also events. And all these three things, persons, things, events, in the term information system, form one whole thing, the one system, and somehow contribute to this aspect system, somehow are important for the system, and also these parts depend on each other. So the persons within the system are somehow related to the things, and somehow events are triggered, and then leads to other events, leads to activities of the persons. So the system actually is one bigger thing, bigger integrated thing, consisting of persons, things, events, and the like. So you see, in such kind of system, you see that there are subsystems also. There might be smaller parts which somehow again form a system and which might be identified as a subsystem of the information system. The system might be of a technical kind if the system is consisting of many automatic computer-based processes, for example, or the system might be an artificial system if it's something which is formed in an artificial way. A system might also be a natural system which is given by nature, given by a certain natural compound, or something which is in a given relationship. And if you look into enterprises, then you have special socio-technical systems. What does socio-technical mean? Technical, obviously, that's something which refers to technology, to things, to machines, to computers. And then there's a socio part of that system. And socio in this case means that there are also people involved. People who somehow have to work with the system, with the technical part, and there is a socio-technical system is formed. And an information system also is such an socio-technical system. And with this knowledge about the system, we now can look into more detail into the information system, which is basically the socio-technical subsystem of an organization. Socio-technical, people are interacting with the system, and there's technology, there are things relevant in this system. And there are basically three parts which are important for an information system. First part are the processes which somehow are related to the information. What does it mean related to the information? For the production, for example, for the production of the product, you need information. You need information of how to do it, how to do the production. You need the information of what parts are required. Maybe you have different versions for your product, and then you need the information what parts you need for version A and what parts you need for version B. For the production, you also might need the purchase orders, so information from the customer is required. So you see the production processes, these are basically information-related processes. But there are many other information-related processes as well for very different parts within the company. So processes, the first bold point, important for an information system. Second, you have data carriers. Data carriers which somehow persist the information. You acquired information, you got results from processing information, and you somehow want to save these information on data carriers. And data carriers might be electronic, or they might be classical. Electronic means that you use a database, you use files for saving it. And classical means that you don't have any electronic tools for persisting your data. You use classical things like paper. You just record the data on paper. Today it's less usual, of course, to use paper, but still you might have some paper-based paper-based parts in your information system, and these then are the data carriers. And third, you need operators in your information system. That means that these operators actually execute or somehow interact with the information and with the processes. So instances which somehow maybe change the states in the companies, change the states in the business processes, change the states in the data. They somehow have an information processing role, so to say. And these operators can be of two different kinds. First kind is that the operator is human. The operator is an employee. The operator is an employee working at the company, and this employee somehow has to interact with the data, somehow has to process data, somehow has to use data, whatever is important for the human in his specific role. And the operator could also be non-human, could also be electronic. If you have automatic algorithms executing the business processes, supporting the business processes, then the operators might be of a non-human kind, of an electronic kind. So operators, human or electronic operators, are important as the third part of the information system. And we also can distinguish, like we can distinguish human and electronic operators, classical and electronic data carriers. We can distinguish between non-computer based parts of an information system and computer based parts of an information system. If we look onto the company and we are interested in general in the information system, then there might be a computer based part and also a part where maybe paper based forms are relevant. Then these paper based forms are non-computer based, the non-computer based part of the information system. And still they are part of the information system, but not related to software or to the electronic part. And then we distinguish this part, this paper-based part, this classical part, from the computer-based part. The computer-based part, which interests us because we obviously work as a computer science specialist for a company. And this computer-based part is then the ERP system, the Enterprise Resource Planning System, the system which supports the information system from a technical, from a computer-based side. Overall, the information system contains the non-computer-based part as well as the computer-based part.